Taurus, this is your yearly look ahead at the biggest issue you will be facing. Child, divine. Innocence, purity, and redemption suggests a special connection with the divine. Oh, is that all? Hell yeah. Now listen, when I was shuffling, I kept seeing her, Queen of Pentacles, the manifester, the money lady. She triples, quadruples, whatever ipples her money. She's a master at it, and the Empress too. What's the big issue? Giving more than you're receiving, the greed of it all, and research and knowledge and isolation therein. Okay, so this is the subject of the biggest issue you'll be facing in 26. What is challenging you? Having to do something new, brand new for you, not a repeat of the past. Going after your wish fulfillment. What? Humbling yourself in some way. Following the calling. Okay. Okay. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, it's like if you have a calling here with the judgment card, you're already just killing it. But that is a huge responsibility because you cannot ignore this. You can't let it go. Whatever it is, it's your purpose, it's your passion, it's something that you would love to forget. It would probably be more convenient if you could just go on and keep doing the same thing over and over again. Source won't let you do that. And part of the challenge of getting through this year is it's going to be humbling. You're going to have to start over from scratch in some way, shape, or form and do something that you might not be good at for a little while to gain skill or gain talent or get the ball rolling, I suppose. And yeah, that could be humbling, but you're going after your wish fulfillment here. Why is that showing up in the challenge? It's like, do you feel on some level like you don't want or don't feel worthy enough to ask for the thing that would light you up the most or make all of your dreams come true? It's not pragmatic enough in some way. But at the center of this, it's just, there needs to be a light shown on all the ways that you give and don't receive. All right. Why is this happening now for Taurus? From a spiritual perspective, there's been a rest period. There's been a recalibration and a realignment because lovers reverse. There was an irreconcilable difference between you and what you were doing or what you were doing with the Ten of Wands. You were carrying a heavy burden, something that you had fought for a long time. You still saw the value in it, yet there was an irreconcilable difference. That means it was fundamentally a problem, fundamentally could not work or move forward because it was unfair to you. And it caused you to lose so much and give up so much of your stability, to spend more than you made even. There's something here as well about communication and putting out a message and speaking to someone or out about something. Oh, okay. About the way that this has injured you and the way that that's put you outside of your own abundance and your own security. There's something about having to close yourself off to maintain this that blocked a lot of your blessings or even like your ability to pursue this. In a very pragmatic way of speaking, it would just mean you didn't have enough time. You didn't feel enough emotionally calm and at peace to like really feel charged up about doing like this side hustle or learning this new skill or doing whatever it was that is following your dreams. And because this is coming up here about talking about it, it's because you said something, which is why it's now time for the next step of the investigation into how you can receive more and how you can pursue this dream going forward. That, I don't know why that's important, but it is. You speaking out about it unlocked something for you. What was the most recent thing to have happened? The star. A renewal of hope for this dream, for this purpose. Temperance reversed at the base. There's a frustration here with not being able to transform your life right away, or even not really seeing a path or a direction towards it. I will say also with temperance, it could be that you're not thinking big enough. What else happened in the most recent past that led up to this? The family fulfillment, Queen of Pentacles. So you may have recently had a child. Something around your family was greatly healed. Strength reversed. Okay, there was an impulse though to leave something behind that you really cared about. And now it's set you where you're unable to make a decision about where your help needs to be given. This is a very specific story that I'm like, if I'm reading in generalities, I'm like, okay, what is this even talking about? Hopefully you know. So that there was a renewed hope here about the way that your dreams could come true and you could have emotional fulfillment and all that in a bag of chips. I'm getting like, you can have the family, you can bring everyone with you, and you can have this emotional stability within family connections or love connections, while still maintaining what's important to you, still bringing in your money, still having your financial security and abundance, but also seeing yourself somewhere, as in your self-actualization. Where is that dream? What does that look like? And so there was renewed hope that you can make it work. And in closing that fold, impulsively you walked away from something that really was actually quite meaningful to you. And now you're at a crossroads where you don't know where to jump to help next. And I wonder if there's anyone that you should be helping at all other than yourself. Why why are you so concerned about, well, who needs me next, or what do I need to do next? Like, what about this Empress? That's you, my dear. What she should be resting and receiving through her nurturing and her energy. People come and lay the wheat at her feet, you know? It's like everyone wants to serve her, not the other way around. She doesn't have to micromanage her life. She doesn't have to force anyone into anything. She leads through inspiration. And she inspires others to do things on her behalf in a positive way, in a very positive way. So what's Taurus going to be thinking about most through this process of analyzing the ways that they give more than they receive and following that dream? Interestingly, there's a lot of emotionally charged talk here about how everything is already so wonderful. I have so much to be grateful for. You know, the home, the family, everyone's so happy. There's something here about celebrating everyone else's wins and the ways that you got them there, and not what is that good enough? Is that really good enough? I do see a lot of fabulous emotional cards here. But then there's judgment. Then there's your calling. Is this all about them and just making them happy? Is that good enough for you? Where's your self-actualization in the mix here? So I think this is almost coming up as a bit of a warning to just say that habitual mental pattern that you have, which is so useful in so many ways, but like it could actually harm your motivation here, or your discernment and where to draw the line and when to say no. and being like, well, they're so happy and that makes me happy. That's wonderful. But at some point, you've got to say no and take and make space for yourself, make time for yourself to actualize yourself for yourself in a way that almost it might benefit no one in the long scheme of things. I don't think that's actually the case, but you may need to actually think about it that way. If what your dream is doesn't directly involve other people, you need to give yourself permission for that. So, what's most likely to happen next in this journey for Taurus? King of Pentacles, the Money Man, Ace of Swords reversed, and the Magician. There could be an opportunity for you to go and receive a loan or some type of financial or material help from someone, or to sign up for something, and it doesn't have the truth in it. There's something false about it. There's a defeat there. Then you have the Magician, which is having everything that you need to have anyway. And then the Four of Cups reversed, which is accepting whatever is offered, even if you don't like it. With these cards, what could happen next in the future is saying, well, I really need to get a loan and be able to make my dreams happen, and being unsuccessful in that, or not liking the terms, or whatever. This is just one way it could look at it. You're looking outwards towards support, help, financing, getting a brick and mortar business, or hiring someone or something like that. The Magician is coming here saying you already have whatever you need, like everything that you need. But an aspect to that is just accepting that things aren't going to be perfect at first. And that's part of the learning process. This is another very Taurus card here with the Hierophant. Talking about all the rigid ways and the ways that we think that things need to be done in a very pragmatic way of the path has already been laid. Don't reinvent the wheel. It may be required for you to think outside the box, to work around to this actualization of your dream. And it's not going to look like what everyone might be telling you or what you previously thought. It's not going to be like, oh, you want to start a clothing store? Well, first you need to get a loan and buy all this product, and then you need to get a lease out and do the business plan. Like, it may not look like that. Sources already telling you have everything that you need with the Magician. But you're going to have to accept some level of imperfection here, and showing him what's most likely to happen. I do think you're capable of doing that. And that's what's most likely to happen, right? You'll be like, okay, well, if I can't go this route where it's like the big money and the big resources and the big financing, then I'm going to work with what I got. Hell yeah. What's the word of warning here for Taurus? Hell yeah. The Fool and the Seven of Swords. I knew I was going to see the Seven of Swords. That's the unique thinking, unique planning. Ooh, 10 of Swords at the base here. Something that could bring a total end to this project is when you have this unique idea, impulsively running right after it, going after it without any serious consideration. So throughout this process, you're going to be finding new and unique ways of reaching these goals that haven't been a paved path before. So there's not a lot of detail or back to fucking the hermit here, right? You're going to need to do your research. There's not going to be a paved path. It's not going to be a set list of instructions of how to make this thing happen. if you come up with a unique and creative idea of how you can make it happen with what you have, that's wonderful. But before you go out and start spending money here and spending money there and doing this and doing that, it's important to do your due diligence and research and learn as much about it as you can. Because if you don't take it seriously, if you do run off that cliff with this unique idea, then sources warning you it could bring a total and destructive complete end to what you're working towards. I do feel that there's going to be a great many different concepts or ideas or plans that you come up with of ways to make this happen that aren't going to meet the acid test as far as like whether it can hold up, whether it can work for you, whether it'll make sense in your market or in your for your family or for your own skills and strengths and not harm your weaknesses. I feel that there's going to be a great many different ideas that you're going to have to dismiss. And so it's important that you know that here now that it's going to be a process. You're going to have to say, okay, well, I had this idea, but I don't think it'll work because I am not a morning person that requires me to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single morning. That's just an example, but just have some acceptance that there's going to be a lot of no-goes before you get something that's going to start having some real weight and possibility and potential to it. The person that's most important to Taurus through this process. The Tower. Six of Swords reversed. Interesting. So there's a person here who has a chaotic situation. It's 10 of Swords, King of Swords reversed. Okay, Queen of Wands. So they have they're a person who is very beautiful, very confident, very proud. A lot of people think they're attractive. They have a lot of people who are kind of seeking their attention or validation even. They could be very attractive, a very attractive woman even. But here's what you need to know about them. Their life is incredibly chaotic. And it continually goes to the same situation of like, oh, everything's great. And then, oh, it's all blown up and over and over and over again. They head into this chaos because they're trying to bring an end to a type of criticism and wounding from someone who was too cold and too withdrawn, and they didn't give them the love and compassion and sensitivity and fairness that they needed. Therefore, they're in this repeated cycle of everything crashing down and coming to an end, and then they run to something that they think is going to save them, but it doesn't, and then there's no firm foundations, and so the whole thing happens all over again. Why is this coming up for Taurus, and why is this person important to them? Crossroads to help. Okay, this is the person we saw earlier. This is the person you saw earlier with this whole story about how this could even be a family member. Where you have this serious need to you're like locked into this, right? Where you really want to make everyone around you happy and you have so much to give because you worked very hard and you're very stable, right? And you're hoping that you can heal someone. You walked away from what was important to you in order to try to help this person. This person cannot be helped by you. That is why this is here. This is a fruitless endeavor because their wounding is a matter for source, for therapists. You're not equipped. You're doing more harm than good. They can't even hear what you have to say. And I don't know what would be the best case scenario for you as far as what you can do in future when you're seeing this person go from chaotic situation to chaotic situation. I mean, it could look pretty bad. These are not good cards. Okay, I'm just going to tell it to you like it is. They're not good cards. What do we want to know about this person for Taurus? What's the best case scenario of how they should handle them going forward? The Sun. Seven of Wands reversed. High Priestess reversed. So There's no point in the analyzing or trying to help in any spiritual way. It's important that you understand that they don't have that part of themselves developed yet. I think speaking life and light into them, that you can be that person on the sidelines, mind you, that says, you know what, you have a lot of potential. I do see good in you, but there's a lot that you need to heal. Not holding them up on a pedestal, not protecting them from their own failure with the Seven of Wands reversed and with the High Priestess reversed. There's nothing on a spiritual level that you can do, and there's nothing that they will understand either. So when they come around, there's not a lot of action. Like there's no tangible cards. There's no Pentacles cards here. There's not even emotional cards really, other than the High Priestess. It's down to speaking life into them when they contact you, but not, there's no offer of finances. There's no offer of home. There's no offer of, come cry on my shoulder, or lay on my couch, or sleep in my bed, or whatever. Okay. Continue to speak light into them, but don't protect them from falling, because that's necessary for their growth to wake up to their own spiritual matters too. Yeah. All right. And they haven't earned a place in your hierarchy here either. That's came up at the base of the deck. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. They failed, and I know that might be hard to hear. But they've been so caught up in this whole pattern of wounding that they did not meet the prerequisites that were given to have their place in the hierarchy of needs here with the Ten of Pentacles. So every person in this group has a responsibility and they have accountability. And when they have those two things, then they earn the rewards of being a part of this group. If this is your family, if this is your co-workers at your workplace, whatever bigger part that you two are a part of, or that you would like this person to be a part of, know that they are not putting in what they need to earn what is given here. And that's that. So what's the word of solace for Taurus given the situation? If what they're worried about, let's let them know all is well. So the Moon, Queen of Swords, you're going to have clear insight and judgment to things that you have never even seen before, things that are brand new to you, things that seem hidden, things that are uncertain. You can trust your judgment and following your own personal truth to judgment. If you follow your calling, you will have clarity to be able to move through things that may be scary. They're going to be clouded in some type of mystery or uncertainty. This is the fear card, period. And this is overcoming that with following your truth, sound judgment, clear-sightedness, good communicating too. And then we have the Nine of Swords. Through this, you overcome your fears. Through this exposure therapy to whatever is fearful to you about this process, you will have everything that you need. With the Magician, you will have everything that you need to be clear-sighted, logical, and rational, and have good judgment and hold to your truth so that you overcome these fears. And what's on the other side of that? The Chariot. You take control and move forward, period. What's the most likely outcome if Taurus attends to all these things in their big issue in 2026? The Devil. Not what you wanted to see, huh? The Emperor. Seven of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles reversed. Five of Pentacles at the base. Okay, this is not going to be a quick and easy process, my dear, and you need to know that. The Devil. There's things that you're still attached to that you feel a responsibility to protect, manage, control, and make sure continue to run smoothly. The attachment here leads to gaining some level of momentum with this thing where you do a lot of work, but then you reach a point where there's no more work that you can do because you're still attached to managing everyone else's lives could be, or something that you would really rather not be attached to, but you feel like you're stuck. Okay, at least by the end of this process. What that ends up doing is it leaves you still in a state of some level of dependency where you're not fully like, this is my self-employment. She's doing her passion, her love, her purpose, and she's well paid for it, and has financial stability. So this is what you need to know about this. At some point, you will hit a brick wall with the ways that you feel like you still need to take ownership, management, responsibility, and accountability for the things in your life. But those are going to cause you to hit a wall where you're like, is this all worth it? Because I'm still not here. I'm still not to my walled garden, my Garden of Eden, where I have my, I'm independent and successful and have mastery too. So then that is a story for another reading. So unfortunately, I don't know why you need to know that right now. I feel like that's kind of disempowering. Let's get some more cards for you. Let's go to the oracles. So it's like, am I just going to do all this just to reach a fucking roadblock? But it's like, I guess there's something about it that, like, you need to know that some of these entanglements and the way that you get charged up by making others happy will eventually get between you and your wish fulfillment. Sculpture of self. Shape the sculpture of self, honoring the perpetual act of forming and expressing identity. This self-fulfillment, self-actualization, right? That's what we're talking about. Protected. Find solace and safety, knowing you're sheltered and guided through life's storms to calm shores. You don't have anything to worry about losing what you care about or anything like that. You're far too pragmatic and grounded for that anyway. You've already built the framework of support, and you are supported no matter what by source. What else can we give to Taurus about this outcome? Crystal clarity. Illuminate your path with openness and insight. Ready for a newfound understanding of content. This will bring to you some sort of insight about the things that you've become attached to. Because here we saw that attachment look like a 10 of cups in the past. But by the end of this, it looks like a devil. So this process is going to help you better understand that attachment and what it does to everyone involved. But you have to go through this process of actualizing your dream and yourself to see what is it really worth it, is really a meaning of this card as well. Is the juice worth the squeeze? See what's real. Observe with clarity. Clarity. This process will make things abundantly clear to you. It's a step along a path to a greater purpose. Fully immersed. Everything you want is all around you, just waiting for you to see it. Interesting. I feel like that's not an issue for you, though, and that's interesting that pops up. I guess you tell me. But the self-actualization, that calling, we can't dismiss that. The island. Number 17. Moment of presence, here and now. That is all there is. Have you forgotten how to be in awe of the little things? Well, today the universe wants to remind you to be in the moment. Maybe you have spent so much time thinking about where you want to go that you've forgotten to live in the present. Okay. Now this is all starting to take a fucking turn. This is so crazy because when we go back to this hyper mental card of the Hermit, of thinking and thinking and thinking, and even isolating yourself, and you're thinking about all the ways that you give more to others than how you receive. Slow down, get out of your head and look around you. Feel the vibrance of the trees, listen to the birds, and get in tune with the beauty of the world. Place your feet on the ground and your hands on your chest. Feel your presence in the beat of your heart. Feel the cold, feel the heat. Lower your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and reconnect with your body. Find refuge within your own being. There is a safe island within yourself that you can go back to every time you feel afraid, unstable, or in despair. The island of self is just one breath away. This is absolutely a process of teaching you more about how to find and why it's so important to find that inner solace within yourself. And as you go through this process of self actualization, of working towards this goal, this truth, this purpose that you're looking for, you'll find that the outcome is going to be quite different than what you expected. It's going to teach you so much about what is of true value, what is really important to you. And it's also going to teach you about how strong you can be when you rely on that refuge within the self in the process of facing these fears and doing things far outside of your comfort zone. All right, let's get one more card, a message of cosmic oracle cards for you. Look around and find some signs. The universe is speaking to you. You have the power to create the life you love. Remember that. All right. That's had such an unexpected ending. I think that's really what it's going to look like for you. You're going to think it's going to turn out this way. If I can just be, a registered therapist, massage therapist, and then I'll build up my clientele and I'll have, I'll bring in this X amount of money, whatever, and it'll look like this. And then by the end of it all, you're like, when I touch people, I feel some kind of a weird shock in my elbow, and then I am looking into nerves, and now all of a sudden I'm interested in neurotherapy, or I don't know. That is so fucking bonkers. But anyway, I'm just making shit up. I can't even make shit up about this. You cannot comprehend and come up with what this will end up looking like for you. And that's part of the journey, and why you're meant to go on it, and why you have to go through all of this to get to that conclusion, is because it holds the key to that bigger understanding of what your calling and what your purpose here on earth is really all about. So if you like that and you're here this long, thank you so much. Check out the rising sign readings, the Venus sign readings. Like and subscribe would really help me out so much. And until I see you next time, take good care of yourself. Bye.